Welcome to episode 5 of the 2026 Breakout series. This video highlights players in the American League West with one breakout player prediction per team. As a reminder, for this series, the definition of a breakout player will be someone who posts 2 or more WAR for the first time in their career. The Seattle Mariners had one of the best core groups in 2025, which helped them win the AL West and come one win short of a World Series appearance. The strength and experience of their core resulted in them not having any breakout players last season, which could honestly be the case again this year. Cole Emerson is one of their best young prospects and could possibly push J.P. Crawford off of shortstop in the near future. He had exactly 600 plate appearances in the minor leagues last season, with a combined 16 home runs, 14 stolen bases, and a 285, 383, 458 triple slash line. He has a good chance of seeing major league action this season, but he appears to be more of a 2027 breakout candidate without a defined role on this year's team as of right now. Dominic Canzone had the best season of his career in 2025, hitting .300 with a .358 on-base percentage and .481 slugging percentage. Canzone is more of a platoon bat versus righties, which will probably continue to be the case this season, especially with the addition of Rob Refsnyder, who was brought in specifically for his platoon ability against lefties. That being said, Canzone had impressive peripherals overall, with good bat speed, and even managed to put up a 113 WRC plus against left-handed pitching last season to accompany a 150 WRC plus against righties. The Mariners' last breakout candidate is Cole Young, who is projected to get the most playing time at second base on Seattle's current depth chart. Young made his MLB debut last year, but put up negative .3 WAR in 77 games. He is only 22 years old though, and there appears to be clear upside with his strong approach at the plate. His bat speed leaves a bit to be desired, but despite that, he did manage to hit a 456-foot home run last season with a 114.1 mph exit velocity. If he can continue to develop in that area and hit the ball hard more consistently, he could provide power upside in the future. The main area of growth for Young has to come defensively though if he is going to provide value and become an everyday infielder for the Mariners. He ranked in the 11th percentile last season for fielding run value, with 4th percentile arm strength and range. Although Young struggled defensively, he still projects to be an above-average defender, and I think that will start to come into fruition this season. Even though Cole Emerson might provide the highest upside of these three, and Dominic Canzone has the best results so far at the major league level, Cole Young is the selection for the Seattle Mariners 2026 breakout player with a WAR projection of 2. FanGraphs projects Young to play in 91 games and accumulate 1.4 WAR, but I think with the opportunity to win the second base job, he can push that playing time up a bit and surpass this WAR projection. The Houston Astros had 3 players in 2025 reach the 2 WAR mark for the first time in their career. Brian Abreu dominated hitters out of the bullpen, accumulating 2.2 WAR, which ranked 3rd in the MLB for relievers. Although the jump was not very big, Jake Meyers reached 2 WAR for the first time in his career as the Astros center fielder. The last breakout player was Mauricio Dubon, who Houston traded to Atlanta this offseason after his 2.2 WAR season. As for 2026, there is one pitcher and one position player who are both great candidates to break out. The position player is Cam Smith, who was the biggest piece in the Kyle Tucker trade with the Chicago Cubs. Smith made his debut for the Astros last season at 22 years old, and although there were some growing pains, he has some serious upside. He is a very athletic outfielder with 95th percentile sprint speed, 88th percentile arm strength, and 84th percentile bat speed. His biggest weakness last year was his 27.8% strikeout rate, which ranked in the 8th percentile. He was around league average in zone contact rate and chase rate though, which leads me to believe he can improve his strikeout issues. The main problem with his strikeouts lie within his miss rate on pitches out of the zone, so if he can hone in on his approach this year, after a full season of exposure last year, I think his strikeout rate will improve. Smith should also continue to provide significant value in the outfield defensively and on the bases with his elite speed. The Astros breakout pitching candidate is Spencer Arrighetti, who missed most of last season with injuries but impressed in his rookie campaign. Arrighetti has a lead extension and a lower arm angle at 25 degrees. This combination, along with his 5-pitch mix, propelled him to strike out hitters at a 27% rate in 2024. In his rookie season, his fastball, slider, and curveball all had above average stuff plus, which gives hope for 2026 as long as he can return to his pre-injury form. FanGraphs projects him to only accumulate .5 WAR in 2026 across 86 innings, but if he can stay healthy, he should surpass the 100 inning mark and push up that WAR total. That being said, Cam Smith is going to be the selection for the Houston Astros 2026 breakout player with a WAR projection of 2.9. FanGraphs projects him to only accumulate 1.1 WAR, but I think that is selling him a bit short. I'm very optimistic about his ability to make adjustments at the plate in his sophomore season and not only produce with his bat, but add value both defensively and on the base paths. The Texas Rangers were decimated by injuries last season, which resulted in them coming up short for the last American League wildcard spot. They did still manage to have one of the best starting pitching staffs in 2025, and their only breakout player was a big reason for it. Jack Leiter accumulated 2.3 WAR in his first full season at the major league level, finishing with a 3.86 ERA in just over 150 innings. As for 2026, the Rangers' best candidate to break out is Evan Carter. Carter has dealt with injuries over the last few seasons and only managed to compile just over 450 plate appearances. The good news is that he is only 23 years old and has shown promise when he is on the field. One of Carter's best abilities is his speed, which ranked in the 90th percentile last season and was probably even lowered a bit by injuries, considering his 2023 and 2024 sprint speed ranked in the 97th percentile. In addition to his speed, Carter has good plate discipline and is elite in terms of not chasing out of the zone. He does not provide a lot in the power department, but profiles as a strong hitter overall, especially for a center fielder who can provide plus defense. Evan Carter is the pick for the Texas Rangers 2026 breakout player with a WAR projection of 2.6. FanGraphs projects Carter to accumulate 1.9 WAR, but he seems like he can fit the mold of a 2+ WAR player, with the biggest determining factor being his ability to stay healthy. If he can finally push aside the injury bug and put together a full season for the Rangers, a breakout is certainly in the cards. In 2025, the Athletics had 3 of the best young breakout players in the entire MLB. The most notable was Nick Kurtz, who had one of the greatest rookie seasons ever and took home Rookie of the Year after hitting 36 home runs and compiling 4.6 WAR. Jacob Wilson, who was in the Rookie of the Year race himself, accumulated 3.5 WAR. Tyler Soderstrom rounded out the group of breakout players for the Athletics with his 3.4 WAR season. In total, the Athletics' 3 2025 breakout players combined for 11.5 WAR, which was nothing short of impressive. In 2026, it will be hard for one of their players to have a breakout of that nature, let alone 3, but they do have a couple of candidates who are intriguing. Denzel Clark is the first and put his name on the map last season with one of the most impressive catches of the entire year. Clark can play elite center field defense, and that alone should give him a good runway to earn the starting job in 2026. He struck out 38% of the time last season in 159 plate appearances, but he should be able to bring that closer to 30% across an entire season. He has good bat speed and showed he can translate that to power output when he hit a 471-foot home run in July. Clark needs to make improvements offensively, but the raw tools are there and could help him become an everyday major leaguer. Jacob Lopez is a pitching candidate that I like, who displayed really strong metrics in 2025. Despite having a fastball velocity in the 8th percentile and not throwing very hard overall, Lopez's combination of extension and arm angle is a bit funky and helps him create deception. He was elite at generating weak contact last season, ranking in the 94th percentile in hard hit rate and average exit velocity. He also managed to get hitters to whiff and strike out at a 28.3% rate, which ranked in the 73rd and 85th percentile respectively. Although Lopez's metrics pop off the page, I don't feel very confident in his ability to break out in 2026. A flexor strain in his forearm ended his 2025 season, and although he is reportedly back at full health this spring, the arm injury is a bit concerning. The Athletics also play in one of the least pitcher-friendly ballparks in baseball, which speaks for itself. With that in mind, the selection for the Athletics' 2026 breakout player is Denzel Clark, with a WAR projection of 3.1. FanGraphs projects Clark to only accumulate 1.3 WAR this season, but I'm really high on his potential to be one of the best defensive center fielders in the MLB. In 2025, Jose Siriano was the Los Angeles Angels' lone breakout player, throwing 169 innings and accumulating 3 WAR. When I look at the 2026 Angels roster, it is a bit overwhelming. Although they are rebuilding, it feels like they have no true direction. Take a look at their depth chart. There are so many names who are vying for playing time, with very few established roles on this team. Zach Neto, Logan O'Hoppe, Joe Adell, and Nolan Schanuel are the only 4 players that appear to be solidified as starters in 2026. The rest of the roster consists of a group of young players competing for playing time in hopes of establishing themselves, along with a number of veteran players who are, by default, taking away potential playing time from the younger players. Considering these circumstances, there could be a number of breakout candidates on this team, but without knowing which young players the Angels are going to give a legit chance in 2026, it feels impossible to select a breakout player from a group that consists of Matthew Lugo, Christian Moore, Kyron Paris, Vaughn Grissom, Denzer Guzman, and Nelson Rada. Because of this, Nolan Schanuel is the only player I feel will get enough playing time to have a breakout season. He is going to be the pick for the Los Angeles Angels 2026 breakout player with a WAR projection of 2. FanGraphs projects him to accumulate 1.7 WAR, which is fair with the profile he has for a first baseman. His bat speed is near the bottom of the league, which hurts his home run and power potential. He does have strong plate discipline and bat-to-ball skills, which he will need to leverage to push his batting average up in an attempt to provide more value than he has in previous seasons. The Angels' current situation is tough to say the least, and maybe some of the young players that I mentioned will break out in 2026, but for now, the future outlook is a bit bleak. Let me know in the comments which players in the AL West you think will break out this season, and while you're at it, hit the like button and subscribe so you can keep up with the rest of the videos in this series. If you missed any of the first 4 episodes, make sure to check them out, and as always, thanks for watching.